In this lesson, we'll use my favorite mesh tool to draw simple and complex mesh elements. The basic steps are to use a simple square and convert its node properties to mesh cells assigned to the mesh tool. We assign 2 to the horizontal cell and 2 to the vertical cell, creating 4 equal cells for the start of the element's core. Extending the anchors is crucial for this step, ensuring the curvature of the color creation matches the terrain perfectly. You should know that any anchor has a correct start and end on the mesh, so that it flows smoothly, matching the color flow until it stops at a new node or the end of the outer path. Dragging and extending the handles creates a linear or radial gradient of color from the center point. Adding new cells makes the object show more detail at small areas or ends. Long curves give the element a rounded appearance before coloring, so you can see the results in advance if your initial steps are correct. Make the mesh as simple as possible at first to achieve the correct composition and initial coloring, then increase the number of cells as you add more detail to create highlights and shadows. To draw a new mesh, repeat the same steps as before, taking into account all the previous tips. Each time you draw a new mesh, notice the similarity in the rules, with some differences in the details related to its characteristics, such as being semi-straight or zigzag oval. Success depends on the regular, not random, engineering of the lines. You should visualize the colors in your imagination through the basic mesh before final coloring, as they are built according to correct rules, while coloring depends on personal vision and accumulated skills. After completing the mesh drawing, it is advisable to create a general balance for the element before coloring it, in case some edges are distorted due to incorrectly pulling some mesh nodes. When you pay attention to the grid at the beginning of the work, this will be reflected in the coloring later, so try to constantly practice this stage because it is the most important foundation for any successful work through these techniques. Some people think that coloring is just a matter of selecting colors, but in reality it is a cumulative building process that begins with the basics until the painting is finished. Therefore, in this lesson we will observe a sequence of coloring stages, step by step. Now we have 2 virtual light sources that you should always have in mind while painting, one from the right and one from the back. We'll use them to color the shadow areas. Adding close lines indicates the intensity of color concentration in this area, such as a strong light edge or a separation between another area. We start by creating the mid-tone colors. When focusing on the details, we choose dark or bright shadow tones depending on the area. When choosing a color tone, first select the anchor with the direct selection tool, then select the eyedropper tool. You can use shortcuts to do this. It gets easier with repetition, and coloring begins with defining the outline of each point we add color. The shortcut keys for the mesh tool and the eyedropper are often used to accomplish tasks. For the mesh tool, press the letter U. For the eyedropper tool, press the letter I. For precise selection, press the letter A or Shift+A. Use the wiring tool with a single click to create subdots that are not colorable but play a significant role in highlighting rough surfaces or creating a textured effect. This gives the color a blend of soft coloring and brush strokes. Moving the small nodes scattered between the lines reveals the texture details without overdoing the movement or distorting the overall shape. Repeat the previous steps, taking all notes into account. We'll now speed up the coloring process a bit, as the steps are exactly the same at this stage as I explained previously. The tools are the same, but the color selection varies depending on the color ruler. Coloring also requires a little mental imagination. Now we have two virtual light sources that you should always have in mind while painting, one from the right and one from the back. To create the shape, apply the rule of first using the middle colors, which is the base before the details appear, followed by bright highlights with refracted shadows. When coloring, we can select one or more points or use a range of points using the lasso tool, especially for large areas. Or we can use the direct section tool by clicking outside the element and dragging inward to select a number of points for coloring. Imagine a virtual light focused on one side, stronger than the other, to break up the overall shadows. This plays a major role in the final results and the success of the details. The smoke effect is very easy to create. Use a black shape and a white point, adjusting the air screen attribute to fade the black and make the white appear transparent. Thanks for watching, and more interesting and useful lessons coming soon.